store on the counting day, which was today. And I am at least happy to note that both Dr. Swami and Arvind Chaturvedi in their figures and talk what they mentioned had clearly mentioned, and perhaps we were the only YouTube channel which gave the figures right. Others must have spent crores of rupees, must have been funded crores of rupees, and they had various confusing figures. But Dr. Arvind Chaturvedi and Dr. Swami got these figures right. In fact, Dr. Swami had even said that BJP's total would be around 220. And you know what has happened. In a few moments from now, we will be discussing everything this threadbare, because as you know, our title of the program is Fall of Modi and Future Rise of BJP. And we will be happy to discuss this. My colleagues Ramesh, Dr. Arvind Chaturvedi, and of course Dr. Swami will be discussing this topic in the next 30 to 40 minutes. As you know, the results have almost come out, and it is everybody is anxious to know what will happen. Besides discussing what has happened, why it has happened, and what will happen, Dr. Swami will give us an insight of what will happen in the coming few days or weeks. With this, I ask Dr. SUBRAMANIAN Swamy to please start discussing about this topic, Fall of Modi and Future Rise of BJP. Over to Dr. Swami, and thank you viewers for your last support we had. We had a huge audience and a big response across the globe in 120 countries, and we thank our viewers across the globe. Thank you, and over to Dr. Swami.
Thank you, Jagdish. It's a momentous situation for the whole of India, because we did conduct the elections and the people did vote, and they voted with their own minds, not because somebody was paid or somebody was given a bottle of whiskey or something, which happens in other countries. But here the people almost voted as if this was what they call as their birthright, and this is why democracy is surviving in that. Now, I would like to say that the big defeat in this latest election, general election, is that the 10-year-old prime minister, that is, he has been prime minister for 10 years, has been shown the door, in the sense that he is no more a person who can deliver victories to the party and convince the people to support the party. So that's a major thing. Now, I expect that Mr. Modi will resign. And if he doesn't resign, there should be a parliamentary party which should have a vote to see whether he decides to do it, challenge it in the vote itself. So I think it would be proper in any other country. I have seen many countries in the United States, for example, or in Britain and so on, that when you fall below the expectations, you don't hesitate. You immediately submit your resignation. If, of course, the party feels, no, you don't deserve to resign, then they themselves will say, take back your resignation. And that's the way to do it. That is the proper way to do in a democracy. Now, problem with the Modi is that he actually had centralized the entire party, and the party there were chosen not by elections, which is used to be the procedure for Jansangh, and then later on Janata Party, and then later on BJP. And then there was a national executive, and that had status. There was a parliamentary board that had status. All this was put aside, and it functioned as in a very autocratic manner, and therefore only sycophants were able to survive in that system. So we need, let me say that we need urgently to go back to the old Jansangh Janata Party system, where we had elections within the party. And I'm happy to say that there is a move which I was told which will be final if when it's announced. It's not been announced, so I am not making an announcement, or I'm not claiming to know anything. But the fact is that there is a need to see that now we go back to having elections within the party, so that good people get elected and or sycophants are kicked out. So first and foremost, I will say that the centralization of the party was a great mistake, where everything was went to Modi, and Modi decided who will get what, and there was just no, he could bring any film actress and put them as general secretaries or put them as candidates and whatnot. It was where the party worker didn't have a say, where the party office bearers didn't have a say. And sometimes the office bearers said awful things. For example, Nadda said that we don't need RSS. Now, how can any Jansang person from the Jansang schedule who's come from the Jansang party and now in BJP can possibly say that we don't need RSS? And in fact, a very large number of our cadre is from RSS, who are in RSS, but they devote their time to go to the booth and sit there, and then and in the booth they are able to do the service which party workers cannot do without payment, without or giving them some sandwiches, something like that. This is the kind of sacrifice there, and now you say we don't need them. That shows the deprecation, the fall that had taken place. So I would say the centralization of the party, centralization of the government, everything going straight to Modi and only Modi will decide, that in my opinion is something that has hurt us and that we must undo. So I am more than that. I know that we have not got majority, and that's a big loss. I mean, it's no use saying that NDA got majority, got 292 or whatever, but that is not the issue. The issue is whatever the BJP on its own, it should have got majority, and it didn't get the majority. And it was very far down. I think maybe 240 or something, which is far down below to 272, which was the minimum necessary. So I would say now we look forward to the party holding a parliamentary party meeting. All MPs elected on BJP ticket should be made to come, and then there it will be decided who will be the leader of the parliamentary party, who automatically then becomes the prime minister of the country. It should not be nominated by 4 or 5 people and so on. So that is the first thing I want to emphasize. Second thing is that, look, we have to undo so many things that have been done wrong by Modi. One is that 4,064 square kilometers of undisputed land, Mother India's land, in Ladakh was the Chinese were allowed to come in undisturbed, unchallenged, and they decided to take it over, and they are in possession today. Never in the history we have had this kind of thing where the Prime Minister says, koi aaya nahi, koi gaya nahi, as if we are all imagining, but he never allowed any of us to go. I tried very hard through the parliament. I tried very hard through putting items in the through the government. Nothing was responded to, and nobody has been allowed to go and see whether the Chinese have come or not. Of course, VHS had invited one of their top intellectuals from Ladakh who came and gave a speech, and when he explained how much the Chinese had come in, we all felt very ashamed. And I think we should perhaps in the future, some of us in the VHS should make a team and go to Ladakh and see it for ourselves and tell the people about it. Secondly, all the experienced leaders of the party, Advani, Murli Manohar Joshi, X, Y, Z, everybody was sidelined. And they put they were shameless, and they were made to feel small by saying, okay, now you go to Margdarshan Mandal, as if it's some kind of a sanatorium where sick people go, and completely shut them out, and not even invite them to the national executive meeting as a guest, which has been our tradition in the past in Jansang and others, where people became very aged. They would come. They were allowed to come anytime they wanted. They were treated very well. But here it's just chopped. This is one thing that he has done, which has hurt the sentiment of very many people in the party. Then in the ministries, he put people who didn't know a thing about the subject. Finance ministry. This Nirmala Sitharaman just went to JNU. JNU, they don't give any education. I don't know. I don't want to tell you what they give, what education, if any, they give. But the fact is, economics is a very, very sophisticated subject, and a finance ministry must either know them by themselves, or they should be able to get officials, officers who can explain to the minister that this is what this how it all translates to, and ask them for ask the minister to give a decision based on that. We in the past have had Manmohan Singh as a finance minister. We had T.T. Krishnamachari as finance minister. We had our former president from Bengal. He was a prime minister. He was a finance minister. So they were all people who were educated. They had PhDs and so on. And now we come and find somebody who knows nothing about economics except that they learned some etiquettes in Jawaharlal Nehru University. So this and the same thing was with foreign policy also. We had a person who had no clue how to deal with China, how to deal with America, and all he did was wearing a tie and coat and going to these places and sipping whiskey. That's about all we saw. We saw no change that took place, because anybody who had talent, Modi was pushing them to the corner. So if the economy you want to know, I have already given to the Prime Minister in writing. I drew the graph from 2014 all the way. It went down, the growth rate went down till to 2020. Then Corona came, so you had an excuse. Then again after that, you went from the bottom up, which naturally will give you a high growth rate. But in the last 2 years, the growth rate has been a miserable 5.5% or something like that, if properly calculated. So we have an economy which has failed, which should have been a factor in not repeating Mr. Modi for the third term, which I think I perhaps nobody had a say in it. It was decided by Modi himself. Now, finally, democracy has been eroded in the last 10 years of Modi's rule. There are so many things in which people are terrified to speak their mind. Newspapers privately tell me, we can't publish anything from you because you got from Hiren Joshi or some fellow in the cabinet committee. He's a committee's members. He calls up all the newspapers and tells them, you can't publish anything about Mr. Swamy or X or Y or Z, and you can't put this item in, otherwise we'll cut all the money that we are giving in advertisements to your newspaper from the government. This is the kind of blackmail that they did. But we need now to introduce democracy in the selection of candidates, in the party, in the selection of the party, and so on. And I think one of the first things that should be done is to start a membership drive, and then on the basis of the membership drive, decide how to go further in restructuring the party. So now Modi, of course, has been elected by a much smaller in the margin. I think he got 1.5 lakh only, where in the past he got a huge number, and is unknown, almost unknown person of local Varanasi. He came very close to Modi in terms of getting 4.5 or 5 lakhs of votes. So what do we do for the future? This is something that we all need to discuss, and I will not take more time on this. I may come towards the end to add to it, but I would say that in the future, for whatever it is, whether we are in the opposition or we are in the ruling party, vacating China from our territory is number one. Number two is the improvement in the economy, and third is full employment in the country, and finally the very poor in the cities and towns. They should be specially enforced and enabled to go to send their children to school free of charge, so that they are able to give them an education. This is the kind of outlook we should have, and not how many times you went abroad and who hugged whom, how many times you hugged the various leaders. This is not the kind of thing that we want our leaders to do. We want leaders to go and say that we want this, and in return we are willing to sell you this. Very matter of fact, like Narasimha Rao used to do. I think that needs to the culture, and therefore with that, over to Jagdish for further proceedings.
You're on mute, Jagdish ji.
Thank you, Dr. Swamy, for that insight into the election results and the way forward, and the BJP, how BJP can come back to power. But I would now request Dr. Arvind Chaturvedi, who had come with figures and got it right. And I request Arvind Chaturvedi to give his insights into, I still thank all our viewers for their tremendous response, which we are getting for today's show also. So across the globe, viewers have been glued in. So thank you, viewers. Over to Arvind Chaturvedi.
You're muted, Arvind ji.
Thank you, Jagdish. It is very satisfying, as you said in the beginning, that our channel, our program is the only program among so many large electronic channels and other media. They could not predict. In fact, they were all sponsored, and therefore they were bound to be wrong. And we are happy that our prediction about the number of seats for BJP and NDA has come exactly as estimated by us earlier in our Sunday program. I think the main reason why BJP lost is the arrogance. कहते हैं कि अहंकार हमेशा खराब होता है. रावण का अहंकार भी नहीं रहा. रावण भी बहुत अहंकारी था. रावण अपने अहंकार को नहीं बचा पाया. मोदी जी, जिन्होंने कहा कि मैं बायोलॉजिकल नहीं हूं, जैविक प्राणी नहीं हूं, भगवान ने मुझे ऊपर से भेजा है. बीजेपी के एक प्रवक्ता ने यह भी कहा कि भगवान जगन्नाथ मोदी के फॉलोवर हैं, मोदी को फॉलो करते हैं. इस प्रकार की बातें जिस पार्टी में, जिस नेता में इस प्रकार का अहंकार हो, उस अहंकार को जनता ने बिल्कुल सजा दी है. और ये एक सबक है. जैसा डॉक्टर स्वामी ने बताया कि 3.5 लाख का जो मार्जिन मोदी का बनारस में था, वो 1.5 लाख पे आ गया. ये भी एक प्रकार की सजा है, और इस सजा को जनता का एक संदेश मानकर बीजेपी को आत्ममंथन करना चाहिए. सबसे बड़ी बात जो 353 जो एनडीए का था पिछले चुनाव में, वो अब 295 पे आ गया है. उसका कारण क्या है? उसका कारण है 5 स्टेट्स मेनली. पहला है उत्तर प्रदेश, जहां कम से कम 30 सीटों का लॉस हुआ है. पश्चिम बंगाल, जहां 10 सीटों का लॉस हुआ है. महाराष्ट्र, जहां 24 सीटों का लॉस हुआ है. हरियाणा, जहां 5 सीटों का लॉस हुआ है. और राजस्थान, जहां 11 सीटों का लॉस हुआ है। इन पांचों को अगर मिला दें तो 80 नंबर बनता है। 353 minus 80 is roughly around 270 odd, but they have gained something in Andhra Pradesh and therefore उनका लाज बच गया है और वो मेजॉरिटी क्रॉस कर पाए हैं। सबसे बड़ी बात ये जो बीजेपी में अहंकार था, वो अहंकार इसलिए था कि हमने 11 करोड़ शौचालय बना दिए, इतने लोगों को हमने उज्ज्वला स्कीम में गैस दे दी, इतने मकान बना दिए, और जो 80 करोड़ लोगों को 5 किलो राशन दे रहे हैं, ये पूरे 140 करोड़ जो लाभार्थी हैं, ये लाभार्थी हमें वोट देंगे। लाभार्थी किसी का गुलाम नहीं है। ये राजनीति का एक बहुत बड़ा सबक है। कोई भी पार्टी अपनी जेब से कोई लाभार्थी को लाभ नहीं पहुंचा रही है। लाभार्थी किसी पार्टी के, किसी नेता के व्यक्तिगत गुलाम नहीं है। द बेनिफिशियरीज आर नॉट द पब्लिक सर्वेंट ऑफ एनी लीडर और एनी पार्टी। दिस इज ए मैसेज फ्रॉम द पब्लिक थ्रू दिस इलेक्शन टू द पार्टी। लॉयल्टी आप वेलफेयर से खरीद नहीं सकते। इंडिया इज ए वेलफेयर स्टेट। Any government which comes, any leader which rules the country will have to adopt the welfare policy. You cannot claim and the credit for such things. The third issue is media can give you publicity, but media cannot give you votes. जिस प्रकार से गोदी मीडिया को इन्होंने मैनेज किया बीजेपी ने और एनडीए ने, और ये इलेक्शन के टाइम में नहीं, ये पिछले 2 साल से 3 साल से हम लोग देख रहे थे जिस प्रकार, ऑफ कोर्स द कमेंट इज आल्सो ऑन द जर्नलिस्ट ऑफ दिस कंट्री, this is a negative comment on the media of this country also, that even if you bend to the ruling party for funds or favors, you cannot change the public opinion in this country, and this is a big message that media cannot get you votes. वॉशिंग मशीन इज अ गुड पॉलिसी। स्वच्छ भारत हमें चाहिए, हर घर में वॉशिंग मशीन होनी चाहिए, बट बीजेपी को आपने वॉशिंग मशीन बना दिया, उससे जनता में गलत संदेश गया। कितने भी भ्रष्ट लोग थे, नंबर ऑफ करप्ट पॉलिटिशियंस वर ब्रॉट इनटू बीजेपी एंड देयर केसेस वर विथड्रॉन एंड सो ऑन एंड सो फोर्थ, एंड देयरफॉर पब्लिक डिड नॉट ट्रस्ट द पार्टी बिकॉज इट बिकेम ए वॉशिंग मशीन। Attempt to possible election on religion. The religion cannot be based on religion cannot be taken as a factor into the. BJP tried all sorts of things. They started campaign with mutton, machli, masjid, Mangal Sutra, Mujra, Pakistan, and all such things. They tried to divide the entire country based on religion, and people outrightly rejected this. Even this, we know that there is some kind of polarization which BJP tried in every election, and they had succeeded earlier, and therefore, but they tried in this Lok Sabha election. So, but this time the polarization did not work, and therefore BJP. Now coming to the hard facts. The hard fact is mainly 30 seats in Uttar Pradesh. How did the Uttar Pradesh change itself? From 64 seats in the 2019 election and 75 seats in 2014. How come they brought down to 32 for BJP and 1 for the allies? Even those allies which changed the party, which changed the sides, that Om Prakash Rajbhar, his son also lost from Ghosi. His son, he got only 1 ticket, 1 seat, but his son also lost. So they have got 35 seats. Why was this loss? There were 3 factors, 2 swings. I think if my figures are correct, final figure will come tomorrow. About 12% swing has taken place from BJP to India Alliance. This 12% swing is because of 2 communities. One community is Rajput community, Thakur community, to which the Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath belongs. There are about 10% Thakurs in Uttar Pradesh. 1/3 of the Thakurs. So I'm counting 3%. 3% swing from BJP to India Alliance. And then scheduled caste. In the name of 400, 400 ke par, 400 ke par, people thought that they were going to change the constitution, and scheduled caste community, especially the community which adheres to the Baba Ambedkar's principle, they have switched. Even party like Mayawati, which has a vote bank of Jatavs, Even Jatavs this time did not trust Mayawati. Mayawati has drawn 0, and they had actually persuaded Mayawati to put up candidates in Uttar Pradesh to defeat Akhilesh. Strategically, in each and every, even the last minute, the candidates were changed so that the damage is done to Akhilesh's party or India Alliance, and the benefit comes to BJP. But people saw this design. My salute to the Uttar Pradesh voters, especially the scheduled caste community, who had even said no to Mayawati, this particular evil design of benefiting, trying to benefit BJP and trying to damage the opposition. Last is the price rise and unemployment and Agniveer. Youth, 50% of the young voters who have just become voters 18 plus, they have gone into opposition camp. And of course, 50% also voted for BJP. But this 50% young voters which switched to India Alliance. So these three factors put together, and the other factors which I've said. And this, I think, is a big lesson to any political party, especially a ruling political party, that you cannot take people for granted. And therefore, what should be done? Dr. Swami has suggested what should be done next. My suggestion, whatever it is worth, is that BJP should elect an OBC for an OBC. If Modi is going out, another OBC should be selected, and preferably scheduled caste. But if you don't have a scheduled caste leader, maybe OBC leader can be selected. Shivraj Singh Chauhan, he has delivered 29 out of 29 seats. And not only that, he has won by a record margin of 8 lakh plus votes in his own constituency. You had denied chief ministership to Shivraj Singh Chauhan in the Madhya Pradesh election. I think the time is there for justice. And then I somehow feel very strongly Dr. Swami should not be kept out of the ruling coalition, and Dr. Swami should be a minister if this country has to progress on the right path. Dr. Swami should be the finance minister. He has policies which will transform this country's economy in no time. And I think by the next year, the people will be happy if Dr. Swami becomes the finance minister and he uses his own wisdom of the economics which he has taught at Harvard University. So I think we should have people like him, and the new cabinet headed by a new leader, whether they select Shivraj Singh Chauhan or they select Gadkari or any other person. Of course, I have been feeling for the last 40 years there is no better person to rule the country than Dr. SUBRAMANIAN Swamy. But well, that is the internal politics of BJP. And this is how the country can go on the rise path. And then our slogan or title for the today's program, Fall of Modi and Rise of BJP. This is the only way BJP can rise.
Jagdish ji,
Yes.
can you give us a quick recap about Maharashtra?
No, I will just generally tell you. I was just observing that recently in the last phase, Modi came to Mumbai twice. One, he came for a road show in Ghatkopar. Unfortunately, if my information is correct, and my last update was, the candidate of the BJP has lost that seat.
Is it only that seat or all seats were?
No, Modi came, if I recall correctly, 14th or 15th of April. He came, May, he came to Ghatkopar, and that seat was lost. Then on the 17th of May, he came for a public meeting at Dadar, Shivaji Park, and that seat of Eknath Shinde's Shiv Sena was also lost, and Uddhav Thackeray's candidate Anil Desai got elected from Dadar. It's known as the South Central constituency now, Mumbai South Central, and Ghatkopar, which is part of Mumbai Northeast, which only one gentleman has been elected from this constituency in 2 consecutive terms. And that constituency was Dr. Swamy, who was elected in 1977 and 1980. No other MP has been elected 2 consecutive terms. And this term, unfortunately, our BJP candidate lost. I am told before he came to Bombay on that fateful day for that Ghatkopar road show, he had gone to Bhiwandi. I'm not yet sure, but till the last report I was seeing, our Kapil Patil, a minister in Delhi from the BJP, was trailing behind in that constituency. I don't know whether the final results are out. I have not checked. That means Modi went to Bhiwandi. There also the candidate was facing trouble. Before that, outskirts of Nasik, he went to Dindori. One of our lady ministers was a candidate there. I was last told, because I have the results are evolving, that our lady minister who's standing for MP, she also was losing. So this is the track record. Perhaps a deeper study need to be done on this. So Modi has become a liability for the BJP. So if you are asking me, my question was to a specific thing. I'm told that the last count, out of 6 seats of Mumbai, we have lost 5 seats, and BJP has only won 1 seat of Bombay North. That was the hard work of Mr. Gopal Shetty, who was 2 times MP, 3 times MLA, and a municipal councillor. And Mr. Piyush Goyal has been successful from there. But I'm told the other 5 seats, BJP and the Eknath Shinde group have lost from Maharashtra. And that's, you can see that in Maharashtra there are 48 seats. BJP has got only 10. The Uddhav Thackeray Shiv Sena has got 10. INC Congress with Uddhav Thackeray and has got 13. That makes 23. And 7 from Sharad Pawar group. That makes 23. And 30 seats out of 48 has been won by this group. In fact, we should have allowed the Uddhav Thackeray government to continue, and I'm sure in this election on our own strength, BJP would have swept the polls. They delayed the municipal corporation elections, and this is where it has brought us. So I'm just highlighting the point, but I have some other points to make of a general nature. Last 10 years, there has been no elections in the BJP party. BJP gets many facilities, and like the BCCI, which may be just a registered society of Tamil Nadu, but Supreme Court has held that that also comes under its issues. It's a private society, but Supreme Court even went into the working of that BCCI. As you know, how many terms the president can have, not have, that the Supreme Court. BJP, recognized political party, registered under the Representation of People Act, has to have some internal elections. You can't have a nominated body. You pick anybody who wants to be executive committee member. Some friend you met on the way is nominated. Some friend you met in Jim Corbett National Park, you nominate them. That things cannot happen. You cannot nominate anybody, some 3-4 people sitting in the office or in somebody's house. You nominate national executive members, parliamentary board members. All this cannot happen. It has to be an election. The president also has to be elected. So if you don't have inter-party democracy, what are you going to bring democracy in the country? This is something the BJP leaders have to think about. And the style of arrogance. Tell me, what has LK Advani or Murli Manohar Joshi, Arun Shori, Subramanian Swamy, Suresh Prabhu, General VK Singh, Pragnya Thakur, why have they been sidelined? Shanta Kumar, and there are hundreds of other leaders who somebody doesn't want, they are sidelined. You go to Odisha and say, you are talking about a Tamilian who's trying to take over BJD. There are people who are asking why a Gujarati is coming to Varanasi to take over Uttar Pradesh. Perhaps that's what they have given an answer. See the margin of votes the Prime Minister has got. Being a Prime Minister, he was trailing behind 1 or 2 rounds. What I'm trying to say is, we want BJP to come up. BJP will come up, but these are the ways of arrogance. You are depending on bureaucrats to run your ministry. See how many type of IAS officer, retired IAFS officers are there, IPS officers, outsiders who don't belong to the Sun culture have become ministers. I wish to tell here, it's maybe embarrassing to General V.K. Singh. General V.K. Singh was the chief of the army when he was prematurely retired by Sonia Gandhi, and he, at the insistence of Dr. Swamy, he joined the BJP. If you see his rank in the list of people who are like IAS officers, IPS officers, Chief Justice, Speaker, and all that, he was much above many of the IAS officers. He has been kept for 10 years as a Minister of State, not a cabinet minister. And people who are below him, under him, newcomers, IAS officers, IPS officers have become cabinet ministers. And Mr. General V.K. Singh, who came with the highest margin in 2 Lok Sabha elections, was neglected and ultimately denied a ticket. There are so many people who came and got elected on their own merits. Now in their constituency, the BJP has not repeated the same performance after having neglected them. So my thing is, you can't run a party by having some yes men and bureaucrats and some hamara Gujarati aadmi saath mein hai. You can't run it like that. It is a democratic party workers. I'll tell you what happened in this election. I was told that party workers had no say even in arranging for the program of the MP or the visiting dignitaries or senior party leaders. All this was outsourced to an event management company which was reporting to Mr. Amit Shah. And this is the way the organization is run. Many people are upset. People don't want to. Many people are not able to voice their problems. Party workers know about a program the next day when they see in the newspapers. Nothing is discussed like what it was done in the Jansangh days, the BJP old days, where Karyakarta Baithaks were organized, opinions were taken, feedback was given in which way areas we are strong or weak. But an event management company chalks out the program and it is trust on you, and that you have to follow. Even the candidate has to go where the event management company decides. This is a case study for people to study what is happening in the organization. So cutting it short, the arrogance, some people comparing themselves to as gods or being a bhakta or Jagannath being their bhakts, all this type of attitude has led to the this type of result. Another most important thing is the leaders have been misled by this gang of Andh Bhakts, Gun Bhakts, Modi Bhakts, and the IT cell. These people made a make-believe world and told, see the arrogance, aayega to Modi hi. What happened to that slogan, aayega to Modi hi? They said if we go to vote, we don't go to vote, aayega to Modi hi. This was the type of attitude, and that has led to we not getting a majority. It is worse than the 2014 and 2019. So it is actually one way against, we may gobble a majority with the national, NDA partners, but on our own we have done so bad performance. And mind you, we have spent money like water. All these event management companies have been given money. People may not want to see that, but I know from what activities which are going on that money has been spent the highest, whether it is election bonds, whether it is donation, whether it is black money. In fact, I would say 90% is black money, 10% comes from election bonds or donation. Who is going to look after all this? Who is going to be answerable for all this? Democratic institutions have been degraded. And now coming to the final point I want to make is, I think we need to go to the Supreme Court or suo moto this government may not do, that what is this exit poll all about? What is this racket about these exit poll? And what is happening on these exit poll? Who is funding them? What is happening on the stock market? You have an exit poll, the stock market booms. Next day when reality happens, it crashes. Who is making money? Some people say those who are funding for these exit poll know what are these consequences, and they are making money. So there should be an inquiry. SEBI may have some sections under it, but the whole ramification should be monitored by the Supreme Court. Things may be good for us, things may be bad for the opposition. And a final point, what prevented Modi from taking action against the British citizenship of Rahul Gandhi and
Yes.
various corruption cases of Sonia and Rahul? I want to say this, till today, Modi Sarkar has not filed a single criminal corruption cases against the corrupt Congress dynasty crooks. They are just talking on the air and nothing is done on the ground. This is just a tamasha which goes on, as his people say, it is all a jumla. Sorry to have taken this long, but these some of the facts which BJP needs to correct itself. Thank you.
Okay.
Jagdish, I'll just add one small thing about the bugs. All the bugs have become cumbugs now. Including whatever Gandabug, they've also become cumbugs now. I mean,
Now,
it's just
not bad for a Madrasi to know these things.
yes, sir. And I just want to bring Dr. Swami one more prediction we did. Spot on. This is not even like a variation. Look at this. This is where we are today. This is what we projected. But Arvindji projected 5. Exactly. Zero deviation. Every place, if you look at even by state, Dr. Swami, Gyan Ganga on Sunday predicted this to the dot with a very little variance. And I think Arvindji clearly mentioned the other day that this is not some kind of pulling out of the hat or sponsoring somebody's money. Scientific methods were adopted based on understanding what's really going on, understanding the pulse of the people, and that's what we as VHS we are very proud to see where we are today. Jagdish, I have one.
Yeah, but I have one fear. Seeing Arvind's prediction on last Sunday and today he being vindicated, I hope one of these TV channels don't take him away and again make him what he is supposed to do, dance to the tunes of those in power to give prediction as they want.
I mean, Dr. Swami, I just want to come back to this where we are. This is not something that you just said on Sunday or yesterday or day before or anything. As soon as we knew that the elections are around the corner about a year back, you clearly highlighted the crucial points that this government has to focus on. Instead, these bunch of idiots run by a pawn-loving guy in IT cell ran campaign against you and VHS diligently, putting us down, putting you down in every form, shape, or the other, in every language possible. And at the end of the day, today, the karma has come and the truth has come to roost. All those idiots who said this, and everything that you predicted, Dr. Swami, has come true. And if they all failed to understand, you've been saying right now, the four most important points were: first, topmost, economy; second, unemployment; third, taking care of the poor; and fourth, the border. This government completely ignored koi aaya nahi, koi gaya nahi. We are doing 12% growth rate. We are $5 trillion economy. We are $10 trillion economy, $50 trillion economy. All this nonsense was spread by the likes of Piyush Goyal. Correct? There is no unknown. We are doing this Rozgar Yojana. As one viewer just said, all this Agniveer program in terms of employment created disaster in Haryana, Punjab belt. Every prescription that you gave, Dr. Swami, this government ignored. You told them in a nice way. You've written letters. We have made it blunt to him and saying that Modi doesn't know anything about economy. Why can't he listen? Instead, he listens to a salesperson. And look where it has got us. The party, Dr. Swami, has lost almost 60 seats. Modi has lost 150,000. He won by 350,000 margin. Today he's won by only 150,000, which shows that people of Varanasi, the so-called fame that he claims, oh, I know Varanasi, I'm a Hindu when I'm doing so much. The people in his own constituency have rejected him to that extent. About 150,000 people have rejected him. Why can't he cannot take up any person. I just see a tweet come by saying that JP Nadda has declared Modi as the PM. What nonsense! I don't know what this is, but anyway, if Modi had any sense of shame, any sense of propriety, any sense of responsibility, because in this election he did not talk about BJP, he did not talk about party, he did not talk about the ideology. What did he say? Modi ki guarantee. Modi will do this. Modi will do that. If you have lost like this and you have lost 60 seats and you've given given the opposition a space for possibly even claiming a government, you cannot be the prime minister candidate. You should be ashamed. You should say, no, I have failed in my job. I want the party to elect somebody else, so that somebody else, because your ideas, your ideology have failed, including Karnataka, where you had 25 seats last time. Now you have only 16 or somewhere around that range. You've lost about 9 or 10 seats in states that you had ruled. It is a shame. He went to Tamil Nadu and says, oh, we are going to break barriers here. We're going to do this. We're going to do wonders. I don't know if they even got deposits in a few of the seats. Even back. Claiming such things and saying this guy, Prashant or somebody, what's his name, Jagdishi, that guy, Gupta. He predicted...
Pradeep Gupta.
He claimed BJP will get 27 to 30% vote share in Kerala. I mean, this kind of nonsense and trying to fool people of all these things have misguided people in thinking. The last point I want to make on, the biggest mistake I think was done by Amit Shah, claiming at the end of the third phase we already won. I think they completely miscalculated. Arvindji brought out a very valid point, is the youth. And I have seen this consistently in social media platforms. The youth are dead against Narendra Modi, period. They hate him to the core because unemployment was one, and they are not able to afford basic things as rent, food, because these guys are running all over the place. The youth did not, they really, they were complete, and they channeled their energy, and Modi made it sure that they rallied and made sure that this BJP was defeated to where we are today. We have completely, you have, what have you been saying for the past so many years, openly, decided to them, and even communicated to the people around him. It has fallen in deaf ears, Dr. Swami. And you have been not only as VHS been consistent, perfect in predicting the voting results, but the reasons behind why BJP lost so many seats today.
Right. Okay.
So, Dr. Swami, what is next? So now we are here. Okay. So what is the future? So when we say rise of BJP, Dr. Swami, what does BJP need to do?
See, let's go into the past.
Okay.
In 1984, BJP got only 2 seats. Only 2 seats in the entire parliament election. And it was under the leadership of Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee.
Who himself had lost.
And incidentally, Dr. Swami, every time you mention Modi's name, EV is barking. So
EV is barking. And now, second is, thereafter, there was a meeting of all the Sangha Parivar's people. Ashok Singhal said, there is only one way to revive it, and that is not by the support of BJP per se, but by taking up an issue which fires the imagination of the people. And that's how the Ram Janmabhoomi movement started. And it caught fire. It caught fire partly because Rajiv Gandhi also supported opening of the doors of the masjid, which had the idol of Lord Rama, and people started going in large numbers, and then there was Ramayana on television, so people saw that, and people became very attached, and finally Rajiv Gandhi allowed the Shilanyas to be done by Ashok Singh. And when the elections were held, the BJP went from 2 to 110. And then after that, increase till it got majority. So I'm saying today, what we have to do is recognize that we can't be another Congress. We can't be another any regional party. We have to be what we are, for which we are special, and we should speak to the people and implement it. Have we implemented even the basic things on Ram Mandir, for example? Modi came running there. After I got it in the Supreme Court, I got it. After the Supreme Court decision came running, and he wanted to perform all the Pranapratishtha Puja, etc. And then after that, nothing. There's been no action from Modi on this. This is the way that they have made a joke about what is the core aspect of the BJP. The BJP, yes, we are for a better economy, and there's a way to do it. You should, and I mean, I can give them a dossier if they want, but there must be something which is emotionally to put us up different from other parties, and that is Hindutva in its modern sense. Not that Hindutva means that we are only for Hindus and we are against everybody else in the society, but that we are we are talking about a cultural thing where all this caste, varna, all these things are finished with, and we consider ourselves as if we are Hindus, we consider ourselves as Hindu and nothing else. And as Indians, we call ourselves Bharatiya, and that whoever is here, whatever religion is there, all religions lead to God. This has been the Hindu standard position. That's how we have to rebuild the whole thing, where people say, yes, this is the one society. They will create a society which is good for us. And the public will come out, and they have shown they can come out and defeat you. They come and show you to put you in your place as they have done it in the past. That's the only way.
Dr. Swami, I wish to share with our viewers, because many people are not aware, and perhaps Arvind or Ramesh can quickly check up. The Ayodhya constituency is known by the old name Faizabad.
Faizabad.
And when I last saw BJP, we were trailing behind the Samajwadi.
Declared, Jagdish declared.
Traditionally, Samajwadi Party.
So BJP has lost.
Avdesh Prasad of Samajwadi Party has won.
That's right.
But has it not been traditionally a Samajwadi Party thing?
No,
always?
No, not always. What you are talking about? 2 elections, we won it in 2014 and 2019. Like that, we can say all the seats from independence were Congress seats. So that doesn't make any meaning. They lost 2 elections. That Nadda can claim that it was a after having undertaking that temple thing. What I'm only trying to say is, you make a half-baked structure.
Temple.
You put in a half completed temple, you put the idol, and against many of the Shankaracharya's and religious people's wishes, you inaugurate it, and then in that seat BJP loses. Let me tell you, I had been to Ayodhya with Arvind Chaturvedi twice before the elections. Then I went again to Varanasi and the surrounding areas, and when I went with Dr. Swami also. Dr. Swami went to Varanasi and Mirzapur, and Dr. Swami there also got a feeling that things were not very well going on in UP. In fact,
Yes.
He told me that things doesn't look. Then what happened one day, a car was coming to me to pick me up, was coming late. So I became adventurous. It was quite hot, but I sat on a cycle or a scooter rickshaw and decided to go through the town to reach the Kashi Vishwanath temple. I asked the rickshaw fellow, and this is what he told me. साहब यूपी में बीजेपी नहीं जीतेगी, यहाँ जीतेगी वाराणसी में मोदी के वजह से. Means he was trying to say because of Modi's position we may win in Varanasi. But I did not know that it would be so bad. And I also salute Dr. Swamy, because Dr. Swamy, when he says this, many of the South Indians perhaps we don't not like. But Dr. Swamy has been consistently saying that democracy in 1977 was saved by the North Indians, especially UP, Bihar, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh, and whole belt. The North Indians saved democracy by voting Indira Gandhi and her party out of power and defeating them personally. So there is some chamatkar can happen by the people from North India. I am not saying nothing about South India, but what I am trying to say is the North India people are grounded and they know what is happening and know everything. So just now what has happened is it has given a shock treatment to the BJP that please come back to your right path and things will be proper. So whatever happens in the next few days, but this is a warning signal from the electorates in some form or the other to the BJP.
Okay, good.
Okay,
So-
Arvind.
Yes, go ahead.
One more point I want to make, and I want Dr. Swamy also to react. 2014 was a national election in the sense that there was a national wave. People wanted to change the Congress government. 2019 also there was undercurrent and a national wave that people wanted to retain Narendra Modi for Vikas. Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, and Vikas was the theme. 2024 was not a national election, and if you look at the seats and the voting pattern in different states, for example, Madhya Pradesh, out of 29, 28 seats were BJP. One Chhindwara was with Congress. This time, all 29 have gone to BJP. Neighboring Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh have voted totally differently. Haryana has voted totally differently. Karnataka, where the assembly election Congress had won and formed the government, this time 1/3 seats have been won by BJP once again. So this pattern in different states, Bihar, for example, I mean, Bihar is normally people say all political revolutions start from Bihar in India, and people were saying the way Tejasvi Yadav was working and the way the number of rallies were done by Tejasvi Yadav and the reaction of the people. But they have won only 4 seats. I mean, 39 seats were the last time. This time BJP and Alliance has won about 36 seats. So the pattern has not been uniform throughout the country, and the pockets have been voted based on the state-wise. So this is one very important point to be seen and observed in the election pattern of this country.
Okay, Arvind,
Okay.
I think I have to once more thank our viewers. We have a huge viewership today. Last time it was around 22,000. This time it has exceeded 34,000 live viewers on just two or three channels which we are monitoring. On Spaces, it could be another 20,000 more. So we thank viewers across the globe in 140 countries who are watching this program live today.
Good.
Over to Arvind.
Thank you, Jagdish. And one very important point I would make and then wind up. This is about the sponsored exit and opinion polls. Jagdish, you have just a few minutes back questioned this. Let me tell you, the question also lies with the professional organizations. I mean, these are professional organizations registered with Marketing Research Society of India. And the kind of sample size, if they take an unprofessional sample, and if they make unprofessional forecast because of some political reason or the financial reason or whatever extra professional reasons, that means the comment is also on these organizations. These organizations should also be questioned, and all professional bodies, MRSI, Market Research Society of India, is one very important society of which all these organizations are members of. They should also question them and ask for the details of the methodology adopted and where they have gone wrong. And if they have gone wrong, their registration should be cancelled. That is one very important point.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think
Agreed.
somebody must persuade. I am told that there is already discussion for some PIL to be filed in the Supreme Court.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you,
Okay.
Dr. Swami. Compared to the Sunday, as Jagdish said, the viewership has been very high today and almost doubled. That because of maybe credibility of our discussion and the
Right.
kind of forecast that we had made. Thanks, Dr. Swami. Your role will be very important in the days to come, and I hope the BJP and RSS will also consult you and take you into consideration when the new government is formed, whether there is one prime minister, two deputy prime ministers, depending on the pulse and equations. But then I think you should play a very important role. This is what our hope is for the benefit of the country. We all know your economic policies will bring a revolution in this country and will take on the economic path. 8% is not really a very high GDP growth rate. And I'm sure when you are there, you can project it to 11%, 12%, 13%, and so on. Well, all the best wishes for the new government to come, whosoever forms the government. In next 2-3 days, we'll know. Next Sunday, we'll also discuss this aspect because it will be very important for the new government. Thank you, Dr. Swami. Thanks, Jagdish. Thank you, Ramesh Swami. Thanks the technical team, which has been doing wonderful job. Ashish Shetty, Swaminathan, Tejas Navalgul, Gadgi Rakesh, Ishwar Iyer, Vishal Mehta, Ajesh Nair, and Gurdas Sethi. This program is sweeping the minds of the people, and people are very impressed with the kind of coverage that we have, which is reflected in the comments which we get from the viewers. Thank you, viewers, for supporting us continuously. Next Sunday, we'll meet with a new topic related to today's politics and new government, and with Dr. Subramanian Swami. Till then, Namaskar, Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.